All right. Welcome everybody. We're doing some JavaScript. So interview went really well, I think. I hope. But one of the things we talked about was JavaScript, and I um, realized I do have a few projects. I wouldn't say I have a whole, plethora of examples for JavaScript, but oh, and also I've started an Angular tutorial, which is not quite complete. I hope to do a different stream for Angular later, and I want to do one also for Bitbucket. I have some notes here, just like some URLs, and so far, but I want to put out something that explains how to use Bitbucket. So for those of you who don't know, Bitbucket is a more professional version of GitHub. I guess is the best way to explain it, or a way to explain it. But it's version control, so it's a place where you can store your code, work on it, and actually, I got mine integrated with Jira, which is a technology I've seen. Excuse me, apologize. I've seen Jira in certain job description recs. So, anywho, I guess I'll just leave it on. Well, actually, yeah, I'll leave it on Bitbucket for now. Well, no, I'll leave it on Angular while I'm kind of fiddling around. So this, honestly, I'm not 100% if this is Java or JavaScript. I want to say JavaScript because I've seen the Angular described as Angular.js, which is a indicator that the file is in JavaScript. That .js. So a good example or a good thing to bring up is the Node.js, MongoDB, Express, and Angular stack. I believe is the stack. But there's a whole web development stack based on JavaScript. I mean, front end, back end. It's really useful because it has a lot of connectivity between the front end and back end, whereas the traditional LAMP stack, which or WAMP or XAMPP, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure. And that's the one that I learned over at CSU, which really useful to know and understand how to work with, but it does introduce a few extra steps integrating the back end and the front end, connecting that. So um, whereas you've got your databases with MySQL, you have the actual language as PHP, or sorry, I should say the back end with PHP. You can have other languages for the front end. Sorry, let me get rid of a few. I'm gearing up to do a security project actually with one of my buddies from the boot camp later. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to investigate um, something. Anyways, um, maybe I'll put up a video about that. I don't know. I want to keep this more coding and tech, less security. Although security is really interesting, so who knows? I might try to do that. But anyways, yeah. So we have some Angular code up here. Whatever it is, like I said, I'm almost positive it's JavaScript. Either way, it looks almost identical to Java. So one thing you'll notice, we still have the bracket notation. We have the semicolons. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up one of my old JavaScript projects. Now, for anyone who's kind of been perusing around the website, you might have already seen that I have some really old stuff like a calculator. I've got a bunch of them titled Arco, which is basically the original version of hand raise. And let's see, let's just pull. Which one's more JavaScript heavy? Oh, burger cheese good. Please ignore that one. That one is my lame attempt at making like a fast food website for more a more marketing thing. But here we go. Here's my tic-tac-toe game, FCC. So that stands for Free Code Camp. In fact, let's go ahead and can I do that cleanly? Yes. All right. So regardless of JavaScript, this is in fact I haven't checked yet. Okay, good. We are capturing the correct thing. Sorry. I've been going back and forth between my Linux machines, my VMs, and Eclipse. So yeah, let's just do that. Even though this is, well, we'll do JS in the title. So tic-tac-toe JS, even though we're doing a Java file. Let's see, because normally the text editor I use for JavaScript is CodePen. They have a really handy setup. Um, actually, you know what? Well, let's focus on first things first. This is a way for me to demonstrate this. Basically, what I've been doing is putting in comments right here. So, but let's go ahead and see. So there's an error, but so the way we declare or define functions, all automatically, that's one of the first things I recognize that differs. Also, this, let's see, this looks like some funky, or is this? See, I'm not a big fan of nested curly brackets, and the only reason I do this is I got a little sloppy with um, my formatting in CodePen. All right, but here you can see var for your variable declaration, whereas in Java you have to do int, long, double, float, stuff like that. So we have this. Um, yeah, and then document.getElementById. That's typical, classic JavaScript. But yeah, so in fact, I'm almost wondering. Well, let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. So I did make a bit bucket, um, and I was planning on making a separate stream for Bitbucket just so I'd have it kind of modular, but thinking we might go ahead. Actually, yeah, I think I want to make a more legitimate um, one because you got commits, branches, pull requests, pipeline, and this, oh, Jira issues. There we go, security, downloads, repository settings, a lot of cool stuff to check out. So you create a file. Let me see if I can be lazy because this is actually what I like to do with my GitHub. Is I just create a file there. I mean, I know how, or I have used in the past GitHub, like the branch checkout, um, all the commit, push, all the different, keywords and stuff like that. But let's say create. No, that's for repository workspace projects. New file. Where's the source page? So already files, clone. Hmm. Okay, so there's actually a README with an instructional video that I can check out later. So I'll figure out this. But basically, this works for now because this is actually more important because my Bitbucket is in my browser, which I haven't figured out how to share that yet. So I'm still in the process of that. But this is a way. It does look pretty ugly with all these error messages, but since this isn't Java, I mean, it looks very similar. Like I said, you've got semicolons, um, curly brackets. So if you look at the functions, and again, you don't have public a return thing. You just have function, the function name, the parameters, um, then your curly bracket, and then let's go back down to that double curly bracket, just because. Yeah, where do you? What is that? I believe that's that the function. Yes. Okay. So go ahead and have that try to line up with function. Yeah, so that should be close. Let's go ahead and try not to move the cursor. It's a big function. Yeah, that lines up. So let's see. Yeah, CPUMove. Oh yeah. Well, that makes sense because so this I wouldn't say that this game is done by any means. I'd say it's about 50 to 75%. You can if you go ahead and see. Let me drop it in the chat. Hey, what's up, Bob? How's it going, man? All right. So there's the link to my tic-tac-toe game. So if you want to follow along, you can actually play it. Um, like I said, it kind of works. You can select difficulty. You can play on easy, which is very easy. The win dialog box works. Uh-oh. And then it crashes. Interesting. Okay, so I guess after you play a game, you might have to refresh the browser. So let's see. Let me try that. Let me try it on different difficulty. Ooh. Hmm. Oh, you know what? I might have actually finished the normal version. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've looked at this code. Hmm. Let's see. Well, so this is the JavaScript, and this is CPUMove. We have a couple. I don't know why it's not funk or freaking out about these bars. That's interesting. Hmm. Go ahead and clean that up. I might try to actually make the format all kind of what I'm familiar to or used to. Um, yeah, let me go ahead and just run through and do all that. Check all the different functions and if statements, while. Okay, so here's that's interesting. So what's going on here is I have CPU move. Well, actually, if we could go through every bit piece by piece, um, and it's not the cleanest code. It is I mean, I'm still pretty much a beginner with web development. I've had two classes at CSU. I've done several projects, but not really a whole lot that are uh-oh, what's okay, so if you click the run button, um, I don't know if you have the run button. Let me go to the full. I sent you the full instead of the pen. You could go to the pen if you were logged in as me, but I don't think that link actually goes anywhere if you're not logged in. Anyways. So let me try it as a user. Which is really interesting. On normal setting, it did the same move set. So I wonder if I didn't hard code normal, and then it crashes. So, and then if you refresh, okay, so just refresh it. Sorry, if you do play the game, for now, I might try to figure out what's going on with that. But for now, let me go back to the development screen. So, and I haven't touched the code or anything. This is, I'm just so far looking through it. Tried to play the game as normal. I want to see normal. Okay, so it's right there. You can do a Control F find, by the way, in Eclipse. So it's kind of handy. But so we have normal. Does it highlight anywhere else where we have normal? Not sure. But and don't worry about this. This can actually comment that out because this is what was part of the class file being a Java file. Same with this one. Um, I'll be transferring this to some other way. Like, well, I'll have it on Bitbucket. So once I figure out how to do that, I'm going to copy these JavaScript files up there. I do have a test. I'm going to make a JavaScript folder, and then, oh, right. I'm also going to, sorry, I'm kind of thinking about all this like, after the fact. Let's go ahead and make a new repository on GitHub, and it is JavaScript description. It's public. Add a README. I know I've been pretty lazy about my READMEs with GitHub, but I want to have it there. All right, now, if anybody wants to follow along in the GitHub, with the files themselves, you can go to there. All right, so now I'm going to add this first file right now. Let's see, so add file, create file, um, tic tac toe.js. Oh, and I think I'm going to go ahead and include the HTML and the CSS files as well. So if you wanted to take the project, by all means, you can have a tic-tac-toe game, which could be a fun thing for someone to do. You can practice debugging and fix why it crashes. So, all right, so there is the tic-tac-toe JavaScript file. So that is, there we go. It now exists in my JavaScript folder. Now I'm going to add tic-tac-toe.html and tic-tac-toe.css. And yes, obviously feel free to change that green. It's green's just my favorite color, so but it's kind of like a puke green, like an older green. Anywho, let's see. So we got GitHub, tic tac toe.css. And this is something I should have done a long time ago. I've just recently started um, working with GitHub. I mean, I know I used to do it back in college, but as far as professionally, I used a different repo when I was coding professionally, and then actually the last two jobs I didn't really build any code. I was starting to write some scripts in IT, but nothing really substantial. Mostly it was like database stuff that I was getting into. Um, let's see. Here is now there's a lot of things commented out. So I think that was when I was trying to learn Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a really useful tool in web development. So I'll just leave those comments in there. It looks like there's a script. So I have a link, a script, source at Bootstrap. Okay, that's interesting. So I have a Bootstrap link and then a Bootstrap script, and it looks like it's the same. So, anyways, I'll leave those in there. The HTML file is tic-tac-toe.html. Okay, that looks good. So there we go. The entire web development project of tic-tac-toe.js is on GitHub. Um, yeah, you've got the CSS, the HTML, the JS. I'm going to pull it back up again. So basically, for anyone who isn't able to see the browser, which is everyone watching, the tic-tac-toe game opens with a black banner that says "Do you tic-tac and toe?" A little joke there, and then the rest is green. It says "Do you want to play as X or O?" In fact, um, I guess I could go ahead and oh no, okay, so a little more actually. Wait, so tic-tac-toe. Um, HTML. I don't know why I included a main. Actually, that's dumb. Why don't I just take it out? Sorry. There we go. So here's the HTML. I'll go ahead and leave that up. But again, this is on my GitHub, so feel free to go check that out. And then I want to do. So I'll just leave that up for now. So basically, so then you get to pick if you want to play as an X or an O, and it has a radio. Is it radio button? Yeah, radio selector button, where it has to be one or the other. But as soon as you click it, it erases it and it creates a new view. I guess it changes what you see. It says, "What difficulty would you like?" And of course, it keeps the "Do you tic tac and toe" banner while you're doing all this. But so something to keep in mind. One thing that's important with web dev is the user experience, or user interface. How does the user see the application? what does the user see? Is it enjoyable, or is there a bunch of latency, like we were talking about last night? Go back to notes. Where was it? Actually, yeah, never mind. Sorry, I think this is what I was looking for anyway. Latency, yeah. So RESTful web services, like the concept of that is the architectural style, um, but the concepts of, let's see, to facilitate the caching components. There you go. In order to reduce, this is the reason of why you do all this stuff. To reduce user perceived latency, enforce security, and encapsulate legacy systems. So, um, yeah, as far as user experience, interface goes, I mean, they are different concepts, but they're very similar. They're often lumped together, but there is a difference. Like the user experience is like the user interaction. How, if I were to play this game, which we're kind of going through right now, I'll go ahead and pick the easy difficulty because I don't think that one crashes. And then it goes to start game, and then you see a board. I defaulted to eights. Um, you can default to any character. I think I also did dashes. In fact, let's go ahead and see. Hmm. So new game. Let me see. Gonna change the eights to dashes because that is one of the things that I was thinking about. While I was, whoa, sorry, I deleted an angle bracket. Um, let's see. So I wish I could show you the browser while I'm changing this. I'll try to work on that. But anyways, save, run. You have to start it over. So now I have to pick, do I want to do X or 0s? I want to do X. I want to do easy, start game. And yeah, okay, so that worked. I was able to change the eights to dashes. So in order to do that, we would go to, being lazy, let's do tic-tac-toe, HTML, and then find where the eights are right here. And let's go ahead and just change that. Oh, see, and that's exactly what I did. I accidentally erased that angle bracket when I was editing this file. So do this live debugging. Also, you can use the end key to jump back over there without having to grab your mouse. Um, let's see. Yeah, because I think that looks a little more. I mean, it's still kind of tacky. Like, if one of the other things I wanted to do developing this game is make the actual tic-tac-toe board better. Like, I want it to be the squares because the squares look like buttons, and they are buttons. You can click them, and that's how you select each move. Um, oh, and then it crashes there too. Okay, well, so if you try to play again on easy, wait, where? Oh, I wonder if I could, because it showed the bug or that there was a bug. Let's do easy, start game. Oh, right there, right there. There's an exclamation point. Where? Tell me where. Uncaught type error document dot get elements by class is not a function. Why would that? Okay, well, instead of, let me go ahead and show you guys what it's saying. So let's go to the JavaScript. That's the JS one. Line 42. Wait, was it line 42? Yeah. Document dot get element by ID. Oh, sorry. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. Now is it 42? It's close. Let's go ahead and add one. I think that's it. Document. But this says start button, whereas this one, it's having an issue with this. Get. Oh wait, sorry. It's not by ID. Apologies. It's the it says uncaught type error document dot get element by class is not a function. So this one, which is weird because actually wait, should I just do that? Well, I don't know. Let's play around. So I'm gonna save that, run it again. Only because what we just did with the tic-tac-toe HTML file, when we changed the eights to dashes, that changed the initial game board. So yeah, it's still dashes. The error doesn't pop up. Oh, okay, cool. It doesn't crash now. All right. I wonder if it crashes if I win. Let me see. It's really easy to win. So the AI, if you could call it that, it's a very basic computer artificial intelligence that I programmed in this game. In fact, let's go to we are on the JavaScript, so that would be CPUMove. Um, I kept it all in here. If difficulty is easy, normal, hard, impossible, yes. Okay, and then we have our check win functionality. Um, but we really don't have a lot of errors right here. Also, I do want to. This is just gonna bug me. I need to change this. See, once I learn how to use Bitbucket, could be doing that. Of course, I think I need to have a better IDE to be editing my JavaScript, which I think would be Visual Studios. That's where the Angular lesson that I'm watching does it. So let's see. Which I have Visual Studios, I just don't use it a lot. I prefer Vim and Code Wars. I do a lot of my code right in Code Wars browser. Let's see. Which I'm kind of makes me lazy. So doing it in Vim is kind of nice. All right, so I don't have to go through and change all these. Actually, it's not gonna matter. I'm so close. All right, now it's starting to look. Oh no. So, anyways, let's see. Okay, rolling back like half an hour. Oh, sorry, the AI. I got distracted. So on easy, which I'm really excited, I fixed that bug. Oh yeah, long story short, this one, which is 42 or 43, I guess, in this one. Yeah, that's right, because anyways, it was lined up with 42, but it said 43. Well, it said get elements by class. So this was yeah, the one that I commented out was what it actually said was the error. So it tells you. So, it's pretty handy. And that's the codepen.io um, editor. So basically, which is the same URL that I put in here, except for it's just pen instead of full. So, anyways, yeah, I would highly recommend CodePen for your JavaScript and your web development editing if you're just starting out and doing projects, because yeah, it has HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So, all right, back to the AI. We have difficulty easy. So here's the code. So if it is set to easy, do this. Um, so spaces is the list variable that I have to keep track of where the human and the player or the computer players have moved. And CPU index is what's calculated. Do I change it? Yes. Okay. So sorry, I just had to kind of refresh my memory what this AI was doing. So it takes CPU index, which is by default 0. So it starts at the very top, and by indexing, well, yeah, it's the index of the spaces variable. So it starts out, goes to index 0, and if it's -1, which by default, if we, in fact, let's go ahead and spaces. Oh, it just does the, can I find, I don't want to, don't click replace or replace all, you'll start messing with stuff. But let's see, if I just click it. Well, anyways, I was looking to where we initialized spaces, because spaces comes from somewhere else, it looks like. We initialize CPU moved and CPU index in this function. Let's go all the way up. Yeah, here we go. So this is where I declare spaces. It's a list with all -1 values. So this is how I initialize it. Um, and so this makes it to where, oh, like I was mentioning in the Rot 13 program, why I have -1000, because I think I did do that, although that's not the bug that I was thinking about when I went through it, but there's another one. I set it to -1 so I would know whether or not someone had moved there or not. And you see that with right here, if space is equal to -1, meaning it is a vacant space, it hasn't been moved by X or O, then it just changes it to 2. Now, a value of 2 is evaluated to a CPU move. I'm guessing from the looks of it, because this assigns it here. Um, we could go to the check win, this one. So, and this is a, well, it's not super long. It's checking, let's see, each of the spaces. So spaces 0 through 8, right? Because there's 9. So there's 9 variables within the list variable. There are 9 spaces. So, um, oh, right. So I have a check win for player. I have a check win, or no, but sorry, let me back up. Check win still works for human and CPU, but I set this to a split where it either gets evaluated. Well, first it checks to see if the human wins, and I think this is called every turn. So after everyone or one player moves, it calls the check win function, and then it checks if there is a win. And there is a valid win if these are the conditions. So this one looks like spaces 0, 4, 8. That's the diagonal cross. Then human wins. Else if 0, 1, 2. So that's the diagonal, and then the second one's the one across. And I could add comments, but I wonder if I should. If I were to add comments and actually start updating this, I think I should actually do it in. That's the one downside to um, CodePen as a developer. You get lazy with the formatting because since it does have the 3 windows side by side, um, let's see, yeah, it does make it a little harder to see. Like, and so it's the answer to that problem is they'll wrap the text and then you'll see the line numbers start to have gaps on the left. So it's kind of misleading. You'll look at a line and it's that it's actually supposed to be all of this thing that's like basically a paragraph, and then you have to look to the side, see the line numbers, be like, oh yeah, it is that. And you can adjust the sizes. So if you're say only working on your CSS file, you're wanting to do some actual more design aspects to it, then you can make it all the you can make it the full screen. So I guess the lazy part is just having all 3. Anyways, so we have that. And then we do the same for CPU. And if you'll notice, each of these conditions, let's see, 1, 4, 7, so that's a vertical. 2, wait, 2, 5, 8, so that's this one. So this column, third column, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, yeah. So I had to verify in my head. And then we have 3, 4, 5, so that's a horizontal line in the second row. do we have? Oh yeah, we did. The very second one was the vertical. Or sorry, the first row. Then we have the second row. Then we have 6, 7, 8. So that's the bottom row. Then we have 2, 4, 6. Yes. All right, and that is copied. I'm pretty sure I just copy and pasted that, but just to be sure, we could go 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 2. 0. Oh, wait a minute. Did I just catch myself in a little bit of a lie? Let's see. Okay. So 0, 3, 6 would be 0, 3, 6. So that's the left one. 0, 1, 2. That's the top row, first row. 1, 4, 7 would be the middle column. 2, 5, 8 would be, yeah, that's the third column. Then 3, 4, 5 is the middle row. 6, 7, 8 is the bottom row. 2, 4, 6 is diagonal. 0, 4, 8 is the diagonal. So they're out of order. Let me just get a count. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, wait, or no, we're not including this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so that's weird. I think I actually wrote it twice, which is interesting. So, well, again, I'm still kind of a beginner as far as a web developer goes, but it works. So if you were to do the web application, um, it it detects a win if either the CPU or the human players satisfy any of these conditions. So, yep, and then for the win, it has player as input, and then if it's the human player does this bit of code which says, you win, play again, and then it has a button. Let's see. So it reloads the app if it's true, else I don't think it does anything. Let's give it a go. All right, so let's run. All right, do you want to play tic-tac-toe? We'll do easy, and I'll just win. You win. Cancel. See, that is so not necessarily a functionality bug, but a personal preference bug, so more of a design glitch. Um, this pop-up box, let's see, this pop-up box, wait, huh. All right, I think this is a function, confirm. So this is a, oh, jeez. All right, so I mentioned earlier, one of the things that bugs me about JavaScript is sending functions as parameters. Well, here we're assigning a variable a function, or I guess what's returned from a function. So that might not be that funky. I think I've actually done that in other languages. But basically, what this is talking about, what this is doing, so we create a variable of our choice. We set it equal to the result of confirm, which I believe is a built-in function. That's the actual pop-up that says, do you want to play again? Or you win, play again. So I do have the text sent to that pop-up box. And then if choice is true, it either returns true or false, yes or no. Um, if it is true, then location.reload is true. So you set that, and I guess in the next iteration, because this is all while, let's see, it's all wrapped in a giant while loop. Uh, let's see, I want to find it. I believe it's because usually the way that games work in programming is you have a giant while loop, and it's like while user choice doesn't equal exit, or whatever, which or whatever condition is satisfied when the user exits the program or wants to quit, goes to the menu, selects exit or quit, like that triggers or sends a signal to break out of the loop. because you want the loop to be infinite because you don't know how long the player is going to play. You don't want to just cut them off after so many clock cycles or so many seconds, so much time. It's not something you want to do. So you have an infinite loop, although I'm not seeing it here, if I'm being honest. I see a few while loops to while. So this allows, well, this while loop allows there to be multiple opportunities for potential CPU moves. And by that, I mean you're checking to see the spaces list at the index, and then you're incrementing the index. So if it's okay to put a move there, it'll go ahead and put a move, change CPU move to true, that breaks this loop. However, if it's not, and if CPU index equals spaces.length minus 1, so that's at the last one, 8 of the 9 objects, so index 8, then it forces it. So this breaks an infinite loop possibility, although, oh right, yeah, sorry. The reason I put this in is because while the CPU is moving, you want it to check each of the spaces for a valid move. But if it isn't, I want to say that might be. Also, by the way, this is a difficulty hard. I think I did copy the code over. We were playing on easy. This is the AI for hard. On this one, let's talk about impossible real quick because I really like this. This is like a little Easter egg, a little joke. If you choose difficulty impossible, let me go ahead and hit run again. Does it refresh? Do I have to refresh? Okay, no. So if you click run when you're in the IDE view, it reloads it. Let's do impossible. Start game. You click anywhere, you lose. Although this is a more glaring example of what's known as a race condition. So I know it's Black History Month, not that kind of race issue or race condition. A race condition in computer science means something happens before something else, or the ordering of operations or things that are executed happens in an incorrect, out of order, incorrect order, however you want to think about it. But this right here, if you could see what's going on. So in the tic-tac-toe game, if you're following along, pick the impossible difficulty, try to click anywhere, and what will happen will none of the boxes change. And so until you hit cancel, and then you'll see the joke, which is you get your spot where you tried to move, and it changes to your X or O, whatever you selected. Then every other space turns into the computer. Like there is absolutely no way to win. There's no possible chance of beating impossible, hence the label impossible. So it holds true to its name, and that is a piece of AI that is considered artificial intelligence, just very basic. Um, as I've mentioned before, I actually participated in the Windward code competition at CSU. My team made it to the semifinals, and technically it was an AI competition, but it was just all in a day, and we were basically building a computer AI to play a game. So, which yes, that falls under the realm of AI. But this isn't a good AI, I would say, because I did easy, and easy isn't that impressive. So if you look, basically what it's doing is it's checking at index 0, moving through to index 8. Yes. And checking to see if it's okay to move there. It's like, okay, can I move here? Okay, then I'll just move there. It's just being, it's sorry, I almost thought of a term that might be slightly offensive for it. It's the overly polite, we'll say. So it's the overly polite AI where, okay, I'll just move there. Don't worry. Don't bother yourself. Like those common jokes, of like in-laws or people. Anyways, and then it changes it to two. So I assume two means that it is a CPU move, and we can verify by going. We're in the CPU move function. We go down to the human move. Where is human? Oh, it's just move. Sorry. So right there, as a coder, I might actually want to change this to human move. Well, let's see. Or is this my infinite loop? Jeez. See, I don't even know. I think this is actually initializing the new game, whereas here I have a new game function. So it might be a good idea to go back and once, I mean, if I were to figure all this out, think about changing the names of the functions just for that reason. So someone else going in, which this whole stream is a good example of, you know, we could almost consider this code done by someone else because it was so long ago that I wrote this that I don't remember a lot of. I mean, I remember some. Don't get me wrong, but like if I were to actually have to code this from scratch today, um, I don't think it would turn out all that well. There'd be plenty of bugs, and I'd have to remember, relearn. Oh yeah, this is a good way to do it. So, but yeah, we've got. So this one's good. That's indicative of what it's trying to do. Select difficulty. So, and then you can see, okay, well the possibilities are hard, normal, impossible. Oh, easy's not on here. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay, that's why. The difficulty is easy by default. Um, whereas if, so this is kind of janky. I'd almost want to set this to an empty string and then include easy as a choice to manually set the difficulty to easy. But I don't think that affects the functionality of the code. I think that actually leaves it, that's more of just a an appearance, an aesthetic, as far as the code's concerned, choice or decision. So I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't want to break it. I know it works. I mean, we're basically just going through analyzing, well, what is it actually doing? How does it do this? And yeah, and we just demonstrated impossible. And the machine won again. Oh, sorry. I don't think I finished it. Let me go back. The the actual bug though that we do have that I guess I was trying to look for is you don't see the X's or the O's until you click OK or cancel. And if you hit OK, impossible does not work. So that's interesting. So somehow you can click impossible, you can play. It the pop-up says the machine won, play again, but you don't see anything. It just looks like it crashed, like it didn't accept your move, it didn't. Yeah. Although that's interesting. I hit OK and it worked. It sent me back and it restarted the app. Whereas, and this is some QA, what we're doing right now. We're testing it. We're just making sure. Oh, and another thing I'm going to be trying to do is JUnit. I want to throw some JUnit testing in there. So I'll try to do probably a whole stream just on that. How are we doing with, let's see. Okay, yeah, we're, I guess we're close to an hour. Hey, what's up, Chad? Oh, I think the interview went well, pretty well. I don't want to jinx anything, but basically, and that's the reason that we're going over JavaScript now, is that was one of the requirements, is to do Angular, work with Bitbucket. Oh yeah, kind of like that last stream. Let's go ahead and pull that up. So we're doing, I want to do a stream on Bitbucket once I actually learn how to use it a little bit better, but the main things were Angular, um, Spring Boot, and Java. So I got the Java down. I started a class on Angular, not a class, like I'm watching a 2 hour video. It's really dry. I mean, it's good, it's informative, but I'm only like 16 minutes into it, if I'm being honest. But then I realized, Angular is in JavaScript, pretty sure. And a lot of this technology for web development is JavaScript. So I figured I'd revive um, my tic-tac-toe game that I wrote a few years ago. So, anyways, yeah, that's what we're doing. Oh, really? Nice. Oh, yeah, React is another good thing that I should look into. Well, that's awesome. That's cool. Now, how do you like it? Like, as far as like development goes, do you like it as a job or? See, I think I'm gonna also. Yeah, I don't know how long you've been here. I apologize. I don't have the thing pulled up, so it takes me a while to see my comments, as you probably already know. But I'm not the best at that, but. I was trying to figure out where a bug would be with this one, where it doesn't display the move, or it doesn't reflect the change in X and O, which I know would be inner HTML changes it to, yeah, CPU XO. This happens for every difficulty, so I'm looking at CPU XO. Let's see. That's how it changes it to either an X or an O, because that's the variable I save. See, yeah, CPU XO equals either O or X. And then XO is for the user, which actually already I think that's kind of ugly. I should say like user XO, but I just have XO. I don't want to change it right now, then I'd have to change it every single instance of XO. But anyways, where it sets at the inner HTML, it's back up here. Yeah, anytime this happens, that's how you're actually changing the HTML file that your browser or the client's browser is using. So I'd have to change this once for every, actually I'd have to change it 8 times. So we have easy, normal, hard, impossible, and then we have user in HTML. What difficulty? Although I also haven't been able to figure out where, like, maybe that is move? Submit move, new game move. Hmm. I mean, there's a check win. So this must be the human move. Inner, oh, yep. Okay, so inner x HTML equals XO. So that's the variable where we assign the user's choice for either X's or O's. Okay, so let me look at the, if we're looking at the HTML, move. So on click, there we go. So here's where the user would click the button. Like I said, these are all buttons. Um, Send move with the ID, so the space ID. Let's go back to the JavaScript. So move index, based on the index, it checks spaces. Okay, this makes sense now. If it's a valid one, it allows you to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. So if you were to, let me go ahead and run this again. Oh yeah, and if you wanted to follow along the, I don't know if you're able to see links from earlier. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, Angular already. Let me go ahead and pull up. This is what I have from that very dry video. Um, it's a very knowledgeable guy, but it's some guy from, he's got a very heavy accent. I can't really place it, but yeah, these are the notes that I've taken so far from just 16 minutes, and I haven't even figured out. Oh, what would be your what would be your advice for setting up an Angular development environment, actually? Because I'm using Visual Studio, but it says, here, let me go ahead. Oh, I can't. It says ng is needed, npm is needed. So there's two errors as I'm trying to make an Angular app, and I need to. Okay, actually, let's look at the right here. So to set up an npm user account, I went to this URL, and then to install the CLI, the command line interface, I went to this website, and I have this, but I don't know what to do with it. I tried to do it in the Windows command line. Yeah, where would you put that? Um, you know? In fact, let me go ahead and drop it in the chat. This is what, I mean, I wanted to do like a whole stream just on setting up Angular, which I might still do. This is more just some JavaScript examples. I want to do all of it. I need to do Bitbucket for the, and this is mostly for the job, actually, for that interview this morning. But you gotta do Bitbucket, JavaScript, Angular, JUnit, and I haven't done JUnit in years. I started Bitbucket. I have an account. I just haven't started doing the commands. But um, actually, all we did was the tic-tac-toe in this stream. It could go longer. I might. Let me see what other. I think we've pretty much done that through and through. I mean, I could debug. I could still debug that last thing. I guess that would be in check win. It's a race condition between check win and assigning the inner HTML, which is weird because even looking at it here, this is where I would change it for the CPU, and this is in impossible. It changes everything, and then I did it by just checking every single index and assigning it, and then it does a check win. So see right there, it should, I don't know, the timing of it. And that is one thing I lack about JavaScript in general are timers, event timers, all those other different things. Like the different conditions, I guess. I don't know, developing web development stuff, as I'm sure you're aware. I mean, painfully aware, I'm sure. But oh, and I didn't actually hit enter. There we go. That's the command. Sorry, if we go back to Angular, what I'm hung up on is I've got those two errors. I mean, I have some files. These don't really do much. See, there is a just doing components. It looks like. Oh, this is cool though. This is an HTML file, basically where you utilize the double brackets or the mustache brackets, I guess they were called. Then you can change it through Angular that way. And passing a function. Uh, yeah, I'll figure it out either way. I mean, look at because it's just the npm and the CLI, I believe. Look at the Visual Studios again, or no, ng. Sorry, it's ng and npm, and it has a learn more, and it sends me to the CLI and the docs. Wait, yeah, it sends me to this one and this one for the two errors. So, and CLI, so I'm guessing that ng. Now this was just, I was starting to write notes. ng, new project name. That was something I think he typed. Actually, I can't remember to be honest. But I started to type the notes in the comments, then I decided to actually type them out here. Huh. Then these are the different methods for text interpolation. It's weird. It's just basic min function. Oh, but then yeah, here it calls the function. That's why. So it had a basic function to show us an example of, okay, in the HTML we are getting the results of this function with these variables. Okay, so I remember this changes. It'll say result is, and then whatever we set title to, um, hello world. Is that right? Yeah, result is hello world, and then result is it would show two. It also executes or evaluates simple math things. Um, well, let's see. Oh, okay. I'm gonna pull up some other JavaScript programs just so I have them on this video. See what time. Yeah, I think I could go for like another hour. Let's see. So, and I gotta go way back. Um, let's see. Didn't use JavaScript on a lot of these. Calculator. That's now I have two calculator apps. Because I think one. I don't know. I have two versions. One was good, one was bad. Um, let's see. Kept Colorado instrumentals. See, 9 times 6. So I don't think this one's a good one. Yeah, no, that's not. Go ahead and bugged. Save that. I mean, the other one's bugged too, but at least I know this one. The other one of them actually works, quote unquote. It actually adds, subtracts, divides, and multiplies numbers. I think it just breaks on some of the corner cases. Gives you spam buttons. If you try to abuse it, it doesn't work. Yeah, this is the better one. So let me go ahead and pop this in the chat. This is my better calculator one. So there we go. So that's my calculator app. Let me go ahead and pull the, let's go make all new files. Calculator.js. Not going to do a main method this time. Actually, just do Control Alt, Control V. Try to avoid that line number thing. All right, so this is the code for my calculator JavaScript application. It's not super long. It's got some commented stuff out. So different ideas I think I had to fix those corner cases. I believe this is the last stuff that I was working on. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You find the operands, you're saving stuff. There's the inner HTML again, updating to whatever this is, running string. Um, oh yeah, running string changes. That's right. So whenever you push a button, it changes from 0, and that's one of the things I noticed on the bugged version. It does not. It keeps the 0. So that's one bug I'd already have to fix. But yeah, if I click 9, 8, the C button works, the CE button works. Honestly, I don't know the difference between CE and C. I just know on a calculator I just spam both of them when I need to clear out the thing. So I believe the code for C and CE, those buttons, is pretty much identical, if not identical. See, we've got, yeah, clear it, delete, deletes only one. Let's see, 987. Delete removes the 7. Okay, cool. Then you do it again. You can click it all the way through. Ah, and if I like it. So something I did get in there. If running string ever becomes empty, it turns to 0. So, oh, okay. So this wasn't too bad. Delete, 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 delete. That's cool. I'm happy about that. Sorry, I thought this calculator was just broke. I thought it was just completely broke, just a lost cause. Um, yeah. So this code right here actually pretty much functions. I mean, it has a debugging window in the top left corner, which I don't actually think changes. I think I can remove. Oh no, it does. So I was using that to. I guess I could remove it now. Go ahead and comment that out, maybe. Maybe make it a little cleaner. Okay. Let me find where that is. So not calc window. Oh, right. Apologies. Let me go ahead and create the HTML file. Oh, GitHub too. Sorry, I'm doing this all out of order. Just getting way ahead of myself. So GitHub. Let's go ahead and go back to JavaScript. Let's go ahead and do add file, create new file. Calculator.js. Nope, .html. That's what I have copied and pasted right now. There's that. It's a lot of buttons, on clicks. Yes, commit new file. All right, now let's do create new file. This one, calculator HTML. Control A, Control V. There we go. So here's the HTML. Actually, it's not that much. Okay, so, and then got the HTML. I want to do calculator.js. Grab that. Okay. And let's see. CSS. Let's add a new file. Add a new class. And this might be actually embarrassing. I know I keep doing class files, but I'm sure there's, yeah, file. There's probably like text file. Ooh, JUnit test case. Nice, it's already built in. Okay, so that's going to be a later thing. I'm going to, not an interface. No, I don't want to do anything like that. I'm really bad with interfaces, APIs. I know the concept, but I don't know how to actually utilize that stuff very well. So, um, actually, sorry, let me answer my buddy. I'm organizing that. Oh yeah, I did mention that. I'm organizing a security project to look into the log4j vulnerability because that is a very hot topic right now. So, all right. Sorry, and also getting all this other stuff. So, anyways, I digress. Back to calculator. I want to do the JavaScript because I am particularly proud. Let me see. Didn't I have my mobile dashboard? There we go. I can kind of keep tabs if it disconnects or whatnot. Calculator .css. Whoops. Calculator CSS. I got to trick it. So we're doing Java development. Not really. So we have a file. Where is my CSS? Excuse me. Yep. Control A, Control V. CSS. Look at all of its glory. So, and even this, like right here, again, my formatting is not the cleanest. Like what I would want to do is actually space it out a little bit. So someone coming in, fact, let me do that. And then I'll copy this and put this in my, it's what, 5 buttons I pushed. So we have classes and IDs intermixed. I think the way that I organize my CSS files is kind of outside in. So if you think about like the background or the HTML or the body or any of the outer encompassing HTML elements, that's what, yeah, so background black. That's my console. Oh, I think I just found it. I think it's my console because it's a white background calculator. It is black, the calculator itself, but I wouldn't call that a console. Knowing me, let's see. Anyways, so Control A, Control C, throw that into GitHub. Calculator.css. Cool, and Control V. All right, so now it's all formatted. It looks nice, cleaner. That means I'll probably have to go back and fix the other JavaScript. Anyway, so we do have calculator and tic-tac-toe on my GitHub. right now. So, and calculator works. That's a nice surprise, actually. I guess I might have been thinking about the other calculator app because that one's extremely buggy. I can tell you right now. Like if I go to it, well, I don't even have to. I don't even want to. Like I can tell it starts with a zero in the window, like if it was a real calculator, and then when you push a button, I pushed 9, and it didn't change to 9. It was 0 9, and then whatever I pushed 6 3. Like right now, I can spam buttons. How many buttons can I spam? Does it work for? Let's do a stack overflow or a buffer overflow. There we go. Okay, it maxed out. Oh no. Oh goodness, no. Okay, so right now, let's see. I believe this is the max. Let me go ahead and put that in the. I just did some live testing. This is what it looks like. After this, so I typed that in. Let's go ahead and clear it. One, two, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 is where it breaks. All right, and let me actually plop that into the. So what I was just doing there, I wasn't having a stroke or anything. It was this, that, and actually that is about the same length, similar at least. So I counted how many times I pushed a button to fill or to populate the the window where you see the equation, and it works as expected. It pushes it over all the way, but once you hit that 30 or that last zero, it breaks or it goes outside of the window, the viewing window. So that's the maximum length of digits of operators and operands you can have before it's too big. So, off the top of my head, if we went back to calculator.js, wherever it's changing the inner HTML, actually no, let's look at the HTML. Let's do on click with the buttons, and it does numbut. Wait, really? That's what I named that function? Okay, it's a number button. So it's number button functionality based on the number buttons. That makes sense. Okay, so I made a function based on number buttons. Numbut. All right. Anyway, um, so if it's 0, and is operator equals 0, that must be a boolean. Or I guess technically I say boolean. It's not a boolean. It's a 0. It's an int. But I use it as a boolean functionality. So I could also do the same. So if I went for check for operator, find that this function, it returns either 1 or 0. So it's either true or false based on, so I could change it right here to just do true or whatever true is, if it's capitalized or not. It's lowercase in Java. Um, I'm not even about to start messing with that. It's a 1. 1 is the same as true. It evaluates the same in logic like this. So if it is this, that would be the same as saying if not is operator, or if is operator equals false, or equals false. You don't want to assign it. Sorry. Um, yeah. Okay. Anyways, so that was kind of a nice rabbit hole for that. But we do, yeah, numbut running string. Why am I doing a check? Update display. What is that? Okay, hold on. It's like Christmas. I'm finding all these different methods that I wrote all this time ago, and they work. I'm so excited. I'm so happy about that. I can't believe they work. Well, I say that, but there is, in fact, let me go ahead and try to break it another way. So we know that the limit is 30, and that's what I was trying to look for. Is if you went into the numbut method based on what it is, I guess that would be the place to target it. Or maybe update display. I might have to go and check out that. Because wherever it changes it, it should change it to 0. Or it should call the CE or the C function is one way to handle that. Because those work. Those function as expected. If I push some buttons, get some values in there. Ooh, let's try to do some stuff. Equals. Ah, okay. See, that's why I don't like this calculator. It doesn't work. The equal sign doesn't work. So all this other stuff does. So that's why I say this app is about halfway completed. It doesn't calculate. It doesn't do the desired function of what it's meant to do. So that is kind of a big fundamental flaw. However, this is still a partial win because so like right now what I did to test just now is I left it as 0. I typed -9 equals. So the equal sign, I think I disabled that on purpose. So if we were to go back to HTML, see what happens with the equal sign here, it calls the evaluate method. So then let's go to evaluate. Where's it at? Probably near the end. Probably, oh no, it's not commented out. Okay. Oh, I actually have a comment in here though to help remind me what I was doing. So I have preliminary sweep to count operators. Okay, now I remember. So, a little backstory about my programming um, expertise, experience, or whatever you want to call it. Um, I'm not very good at the stack program for a calculator. And I remember that I had several colleagues and friends in my classes that they did this. I don't know if it was just a different class that we went in together or if it was, I'm trying to remember, one friend in particular actually walked me through it. Um, Brent, you can go ahead and drop his name, but yeah, same guy that actually. Yeah, anyways, we won't go too deep into it, but Brent actually did a stack-based calculator program. I don't know what language, but and that was the point of it. It was you count your operands, and the operands would be pushed onto a stack, and then you would pop the operands, and at the same time be targeting the numbers, the operators. Wait, do I have that backwards? See, again, this is probably why I struggle with this. Separating operands and operators. Operator, is that the X slash? Well, let's see. Let's go up to somewhere where we have those. Where was that? Check for the operator. To be worked, that size +1. So it's sending it yeah, to be worked. That is, I want to say it's a list of the current values that are stored for the session, we could say. And we would consider the session happening until the user hit delete, or no, hit clear, CE, or hit equal sign. So we're looking for, all right, so we're looking for a couple of things. First, I was want to say, is operator. All right, well, let's look at that. Is operator, check for operator. That's what I was looking for. See, where we actually have it. So an operand is what is being operated by the operators. I think this would be a way to think about it. It really is irrelevant, the label, whether it's correct or incorrect, as long as you keep it consistent. I could call it a unicorn, and still, as long as I called it a unicorn throughout everywhere in the code, it'd be fine. It'd be confusing. It's not something I should do, but, so operator versus operand, that whole thing. So we've got a yes, a one, then here. So if this were to come back as a one, it would ignore this, go to here, but is operator is still zero, so it would ignore this as well. Previous is operator, so in this one we're trying to see based on the running string, and I think that's what's being built in the display window. So, not even push, to be worked. Hmm. Well, the running string updates regardless. It should, because running string, it either increases by the val here, or here, or here. This one formats it. So this must be yes. So this tells me, since it adds spaces before and after val, this is what, if it's an operator. It's an operator. Geez. Sorry, I have so much trouble with operator and operand. So an operand is a number. Operator is a symbol. That's the basic distinction I need to remember. Might be why this program isn't finished, but when we go to evaluate, yeah, it's about half done. It can gather up the numbers to be worked. It can gather up the operators to work on the operands. Yes, and this is where I didn't finish, right here. It's even commented out. Let me see what happens if I uncomment it. Well, actually, I already can tell it's not going to do anything because it's while loop and it's for loop. This doesn't do anything. So there should be some text here, some code. Now this one, if toCheck equals 1 to be worked dot pop. The to be worked is, well, the data structure holding the values, both operators and operands. And yeah, I remember now. That is where I just kind of lost ambition with this because discerning whether it was an operator or an operand and then doing the operation on the two operands to either side of that. So really, I guess you'd have to store a minimum of a 3-spot array, and then we get into, well, what if it's a double-digit number or a triple-digit number? Or so that would be a while it is an operand. Keep adding, concatenating the numbers, then make that into one variable, like operand 1, operand 2, then you have your operator, and then using those three values, do it. So, did I just fix it? That's the last step. So actually, let me type that in there. Like anyone who's a fan of South Park, the Underpants Gnomes episode, final step, big profit. All right, so final step, have three values slash variables to calculate the answer. Operand 1, operand 2. All right, I'm doing snake case and let's keep it Java and JavaScript. Operand 1, operand 2, operator. There we go. And then this is the part where everybody thinks when you make a calculator app, this is the code that you need to do. So it's the most basic. Let's see. Ah. Hey, what's up, time traveler? Welcome. We're going through some JavaScript programs. Kind of my abandoned projects from like I want to say at least 3 or 4 years ago. But I think I've got it pretty close to figured out. This is the calculator app. It doesn't work all the way. It hmm. but it does work a lot. Um, by that I mean, how to phrase this. A lot of the requirements or the user stories that I would fill out for a calculator application are satisfied, except for the main important one. It doesn't evaluate an answer, so it doesn't give you an answer back. It does build the um, the values and it clears them too. So the CE button works, the C works. Let's see. All right, cool. So here in a few hours, I'll be working on that security project too. Hopefully with a couple of my colleagues from my boot camp, but at least one. One's signed off on saying he's willing to try. Anywho, yeah. So that's why I was writing this one. We're in the evaluate function, and this isn't very clean. I just can't share my browsers yet. I haven't figured that out. I think I need to close them, restart the computer, something like that. Have a fresh, maybe even open the browser while I'm streaming. But then I have to start the stream sharing that browser, and that's where I run into problems. It's just a blank screen. But anyways, this is Eclipse, just so it's a nice place to see it, even though it has all the errors and everything. Don't pay attention to those. They're just errors in Eclipse. Or is it? Identifier expected. Oh yeah, yeah, Java. It's that's where a lot of the errors are. You see a lot of red here with bar. Oh, whoops. Calculator J CSS. Yeah, there we go. So, hmm. Oh yeah, what I was saying is this is what everybody thinks about when they think about making a calculator app. You need an add function, subtract, mult, div, or you can even spell them all out. Divide, multiply. So you have your four basic math functions, because this is a basic calculator. This is not a graphing calculator. This does not have even exponents. All it has is CE, C, delete, divide. Then the numbers, multiply, which is just a big X. It's not even an asterisk. Um, numbers, subtract, numbers, plus, dot, zero, neg, or negative, and equal sign. Let me see if that works. That does not. That does not work. Let's actually look at negative real quick, because that's like a low-hanging fruit we could fix. Um, negate, and that is why. All right, so in numbut, go to what's the Java JS? Um, here. So value. Huh. So that's sent to check for operator. So that's evaluated as not an operator. So that's going to be 0. So it would satisfy here, but then that would be 0. If it's just 0, actually what I should do is add a section that says if is operator equals 3. Do something wild, or even 2. If we go to the check for operator function, it returns a 1 or a 0. Or we could have if val, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it here. Although wait, that doesn't, I mean that doesn't fix it. That's like step 1 to fixing this issue. Because all negate needs to do is multiply it by -1. If it's a negative, it makes it positive. If it's positive, it makes it negative. I think. Let me actually let me try it on my calculator. Let's see how my phone does it. Because that's one of the things I kept doing while I was making this program. So there is not a negative button. That is interesting. There's a percent, and there's a parentheses, and then there's a whole load of other buttons that I'm not even going to mess with. Yeah, degrees, sine, cosine, tangent, invert, INV. There's E, there's lateral log, or natural log, there's log. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch any of that. So maybe I just take the negative out. So this would be a design thing, um, because in an ideal world, I would have my number and then have it multiply by -1, and that'd be a thing. Oh, I see. I think I put the negative in there because doing a multiply minus, that would confuse it because that's two operators right next to each other. So what I wanted to build was where if there was already an operator as the previous value or the previous character of the string, and that's a bug right here too. So when I click the operator, so like right here, check for operator in numbut, if it's a if it is an operator, if it's a one, I would almost have to do previous operator, make that a variable. So if I did like var prev operator equals, well, and that would be previous operator. Oh geez, did I insert? Yes, I did. I hit the insert button. So previous operator, we keep track of it, and then it would be the one. Oh no, no, what did I do? Ask for help? No, one, something like that. Whenever you're ready. Okay, I'm crashing my Eclipse. All right. Yeah, basically the bug is if I were to keep clicking, um, minus, plus, divide, multiply. Okay, good. I woke up. It would continue to populate the viewing screen of the calculator. Hmm. Trying to think. So there's a couple of things that I could be doing. Um, see, and also I do need to go. Hmm, do need to go relatively soon. I have something I need to do, but I might be able to pop back on here and do another JavaScript stream, even though this one isn't finished. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I think that's pretty good for the first one, an hour and a half. I mean, that's a decent time. I'm also thinking about my YouTube channel too, so all of these videos are going to be uploaded over there. I have the Java, the Python, all that good stuff. I think I even put the technical interview up on there. Oh, let's see. Right, that's a good idea, Chad. Yeah, I could have a Boolean set to if the previous one was an operator or not. In fact, whoa, what, why? Sorry, I tried to look at the messages and it says chat paused due to scroll. Look at previous messages. Anyways, yeah, you're totally right. So this could be false, or sorry, I guess it's lowercase. There, we can make it a Boolean, um, which is a really cool thing about JavaScript. As I'm sure, as you know, Chad, you don't have to declare bool or any of that nonsense. Sorry, yeah, you work with this professionally, of course you know. So, anyways, yeah, that's totally a way to do it too. And then in here, if it is prev operator equals true, so it'd probably be there would be the easiest way to do it. So as you click Or no. Hmm. Actually, wait a minute. I want to be careful where I put it because when you push this button, yeah, it would change it right here at the source. So as soon as you push an operator, it would change that to true. And now whatever behavior happens after this, previous operator would be true. Yeah, okay. So sorry, I just wanted to make absolutely sure. Otherwise, what I could also do here is else if or elif or what is it in JavaScript? Let's see. Do I have any else ifs? Just have if and else in this one. Let's look at tic-tac-toe JavaScript. Else if. There we go. So it is else if. Um, let's see. Else if val. Oh, and then do this in the parentheses. Val equals neg. What did I have in HTML? Negate. There you go. Yeah, negate. That makes sense. So if you're trying to negate the value, turn it positive or negative, then here is where I would change. Actually, let me comment that out. So, okay. And I'm going to copy and put that in my actual code. Um, actually, I'm going to, oh yeah, copy that, go ahead and put it here, num button. No, check for operator, that's what it says. Check for operator right here. There we go. Add comments there, and then also this. Yeah, we'll leave it as a boolean, like it as a boolean. And I also need to add var prev operator equals false. And it looks like it's lowercase in this one as well. I do uppercase. Huh. Never mind. I don't know what it is. So do lowercase. Let's see. Um, ooh, okay. So look here. Is operator. I have it here. Check for operator, running string. So where else? Prev is operator. I guess I just declare it right there. Interesting. So it's not an operator and it's not an operator. It would satisfy one of these two conditions. However, if it is an operator here and if previous is operator, oh right, okay. I had this this was my first attempt at trying to fix the issue of having operators, stacked operators, so you could do and I think I was trying to do the negative and the previous operator bug at the same time. So I wanted to be able to use the neg button to negate it, either positive or negative. But also by doing that, I would eliminate the need or the ability to put the minus sign. Well, actually, that's just kind of funky because you'd want to include the minus sign in the. Yeah. Anyways, this is where it starts to get to splitting hairs as far as what you would personally want, your personal preference. Because I do remember my calculator on my Windows machine versus the calculator app on my phone had a bunch of subtle differences that when you're actually coding this stuff, you start to notice that, oh, well, this one handles it this way and then this one handles it another way, but they are different. So that includes whole different sets of code. So, anyways, I think that's pretty good for now. Thanks everyone for stopping by. I'm gonna be good for now or done for now, but I think I'm gonna do another JavaScript one because I know for a fact I have a random quote generator and I want to say there's a couple more. Um, these are my favorite projects though. The calculator and the tic-tac-toe game are definitely the ones that I spent the most time on. And they are close to functional, but they're not completely functional yet. So if anyone wants to go ahead and run with it, there you go. There's half a functioning app for both of those, but at least here you get some good pointers of what to do. So you can definitely look at my code and see, oh, this is how he handled this. Oh, maybe this is how I want to do it, or not. You can choose how to do it a different way. You can also choose to put spaces between your curly brackets and your function names, or not. I'm actually going to leave that, even though this is irrelevant. I mean, I might put all these files up, but yeah, like a lot of them have, see, the initial ones have, I guess I took it out there, but probably like there's an extra bracket at the very end. Oh no, I commented it out. So just remove it. There we go. So this should be good. So I would want to put this over all of it. I don't know. Actually, none of it's lined up with that, so that probably is just an extra one, or no, that's not an extra one. That's then this one needs to be lined up. See, these are just so. This one, okay, that was actually worthwhile. Let's do that. 'Cause I might just use these as well. So, anyways, I'm gonna go run my errands. Yep. See you later. Hopefully, I'll be on with another JavaScript.